a preliminary
Yes.
verdict. So he's been restored. That position is as CAF president has been restored to him. But in the context of the election, remember, FIFA has a stronghold on everything that's going on because, and he can't contest in as it is.
Stands, he can't
yes,
much,
because just recently, was it a week ago, Muftar, that FIFA oversaw the process of the eligibility criteria.
CAF governance committee.
Yes, of the CAF governance committee. So it means then that all the people who were passed to be part of the election, that decision was made within the last week or so. And indeed, it is only today that I hear Motepe was given the final go ahead to be part of the election, just today as well. So once Ahmad's name is not in that pool, he can't be part of the election. But as Muftar has explained, on the 2nd of March, they are going to hear. On the 3rd, they are going to give a verdict. If he is passed, then he would have a dramatic, 8-9 days to campaign.
That's going to be very interesting.
And good luck to him on that.
Yeah, but I mean, so then
you see, one interesting thing that Gary just mentioned. I know Gary understands the CAF politics so well.
Good luck to him, Jai.
You see, the interesting thing is that prior to this ban, about 46 federations had already thrown their weight behind Ahmad to continue as CAF president.
Yes.
But since he's banned, it's going to be very difficult for him to catch up with the likes of Augustine Senghor and Patrice Motsepe and Yahya Ahmed. At this point, the politics is now going to be played based on whether you are able to win the confidence of Gianni Infantino or not.
Exactly.
If you're not able to win the confidence of Gianni Infantino, as undertone sources had claimed that Gianni Infantino was the reason behind this ban, following a decision of CAF's executive committee somewhere January, after they decided that Fatma Samura was not going to continue as the FIFA High Delegate to Africa, when Gianni Infantino walked out of the CAF meeting and told them that they would know the power that governs football in the world, people claim that Gianni Infantino was the man behind this ban. Would Ahmad be able to convince him that we can work together?
Because what you're saying is at the moment the new CAF president knows himself. Almost
No, not that.
Almost, yeah.
But the important thing is, now, as we speak, everybody and his dog knows that the president of CAF is Gianni Infantino.
All right.
Everybody
knows that, right?
Now, it is so bad, bad in quotes, that we've been told that billionaire Patrice Motsepe and Augustine Senghor have, as we speak today, been telling Gianni Infantino that if either of them wins, and that is the guarantee with which they were passed through the integrity test, that if any of them wins, they are going to restore Fatima Samura as the de facto boss of African football.
Wow.
So that is the guarantee.
The ears are on the ground. And clearly, you see, the interesting thing is that this conversation, I had it with a CAF official who actually described CAF as the micro office of Gianni Infantino. The person claimed that Gianni Infantino is macro-managing CAF. And Infantino has had about 3 different meetings with Motsepe. 3 different meetings.
Yeah.
So what it means is that Infantino or Motsepe appears to be the man that is winning the heart of
Gianni.
Infantino, yeah.
But people say Augustine Senghor. And the Ivorian government just recently invited Gianni to a meeting. And then they invited the CAF honorary president.
Change things, right?
Issa Hayatou to a meeting. The politics is getting to its crescendo. And at this point, you will be wondering whether Fatma would come back. If Fatma is going to come back, that is going to be a card most of the people are going to use. And if they do, it's going to be interesting. But one man who is against it is the Tanzanian FA president. He's fighting it so hard. And I do not think that he can win the confidence of so many people to back him in this, because those who need the power are working with the powers that be and not him.
Yeah. Well, and just to wrap up, final point. I mean, Muftar had an interview with former GFA Vice President George Addo, where he had a brief analysis of all the candidates, and he described them thus. He said, Augustine Senghor is his good friend. You know, he has a lot of connections. And he described Patrice Motsepe as his good friend as well, and he just called him simply a cashman. And in these things, the cashman talk.
Oh yes, they do.
Patrice Motsepe at last, his last net worth that we saw in August 2020 was $2.1 billion. So, and Gianni likes cashmen.
Yeah. So you got to do the cash.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yes. Muftal, let me say thank you very much for joining me on the show.
A pleasure to be here.
A pleasure to have you there. Gary Alsmith will stick with me. And maybe, Gary, I should just take you on this one quickly because we know we're into the quarterfinals of the African Championship that's ongoing. Very, very important with what we've seen so far. The games are to come tomorrow. There's Mali up against Congo. There's DR Congo up against Cameroon. And then on Sunday, we've got Morocco up against Zambia. And we've got Guinea up against Rwanda. Just quickly, what have you made of the competition? Maybe I take the two of you on that since we are still in CAF.
Exciting.
Yes.
I
Ghana is not there. That's the bias.
That's the thing.
And that's why people are not really paying attention. But good football.
In this part of the football has been better than good. They are going to struggle at the end of the tournament, George, to have a top 10. That is how good the football has been. I don't know whether it's what we talk about when it comes to the COVID, people not being in the stadium, and so the players feeling more free or freer to express themselves and whatever it is. But the football has been scintillating. It's been amazing. They've been end-to-end games. And the teams you mentioned in the quarterfinal,
they're really good, strong.
Yeah.
Mali, Congo, very, very strong.
Mali, Congo. Mali, of course, in the last 3-4 years, 5 years maybe, their youth football across all levels has been top-notch, which is why they've been producing players by the dozen now. I'll need listeners to watch something. In the next 3 or 4 years, in the Premier League, we are going to have more Malians in the top 4 teams because the traditional picking grounds for the Premier League, that is the French league, is getting even more crack talent directly from Mali. Previously, just like Right to Dream the player will come from the African country and then go and walk around and then go to France. No, they are picking them now directly from Mali and they are honing them because the Malian academies are doing the right things, getting the players right from the schools, honing them, and are being trained by European scouts right there in Mali. So that's what's happening. So I am predicting that in the next 3-4 years, across board, So Mali are one of the teams to watch, the favorites. Congo, if you saw our preview on my Joy Online, we did tip Congo as one of the teams that could potentially win the competition as well. So it's not a surprise. We also tipped DR Congo, who are also in there.
Former champions.
And then Cameroon as the host nation because of the host nation factor. Then there's Morocco, who, as you know, are pumping ridiculous amount of money in football
to make sure
across board.
Just
a couple of months ago, we saw them sponsoring and paying for friendlies with the GFA. They paid for everything and flew their players here to come and play friendlies. Why? The grand ambition is that they want to position Moroccan football as the next big thing in their tourism. Okay? And then market that in their ambition to get the World Cup and all other competitions. So they've hosted a CHAN. They want to do the Africa Games.
They haven't given up the World Cup.
No. You see, the World Cup for Morocco is a long-term ambition. And just like Qatar, they will go as far as they can to get it.
That's right.
Until they get it, they are not satisfied. So at all levels, you are going to see that. Morocco are there. Zambia also are there as well. And we're going to have some good games.
Very good games. I mean, Muftar, your question to wrap this CAF segment is, now you've seen the teams play. I know sometimes if your country qualifies, the dynamics is very, very different. The dynamic will be different. But I mean, when you look at the level of play, then you have to look at what we've got in our Ghana Premier League. My problem is that most of our players are going out by the end of the first round. We'll still lose some players. But what do you think about quality standards? What do you think about standards?
I just knew that was where you were driving that.
What do you think about standards?
Considering the kind of football we've seen at the CHAN tournament, sometimes you wonder if Ghana was there, whether we would have been able to do this. But oftentimes, when we are able to take part in the competition, you always see our quality. I remember in 2009 when we went to Congo for the competition, when we made it all the way to the final and we lost courtesy of that Mputu goal. Then the following edition, which was in 2011, we went, unfortunately, under the late Herbert Addo, we couldn't perform. Then there was the 2014 edition where we made it to the final and lost to Libya. Since then, we've not been able to qualify. When we were able to take part in the competition, I think that 2014 edition, our best game came up against Nigeria, when we were able to dramatically win that game in extra time to make it to the final of the competition. But since then, you look at the quality of the Ghana Premier League and you continue to wonder. There have been exodus of players to other parts of the continent and beyond. But what we have recently, you go to the Ghana Premier League Center and you're asking yourself questions. We were there to watch Kotoko play Adriana Stars.
Yeah.
And one of the players we've always touted as again one of the best midfielders we've had in the country for a while could not even control ball or give accurate passes. If there was a CHAN team, this dude was going to be in there.
Right.
So the bigger concern now is the quality we've seen at the competition seem to be above us. But I think if
you qualify, the dynamics are different.
If you qualify, the dynamics are always going to be different.
Because the team
but
chemistry.
What matters is get the quality and you can qualify. If you don't have the quality, you cannot qualify. And that's what we've suffered in the last 4, 5, 6 years.
Good. Thank you very much, Mutal. I'll let you go now. Gary asked me to stay with me. Oreku Ampofo, he's enjoying the studio. It's not bad at all. But let's move away from CAF because we've told you the CHAN is ongoing. So we'll look at the quarterfinals as we go through that. And again, we'll be looking forward to all that happens. We'll be giving you the updates as we follow this Ahmad Ahmad story. If you're joining us, you know that he's been reinstated. But of course, he's still not eligible to stand for that election, which is very important. Now, let's talk about the Ghana Premier League. It's match day 11 coming up. We've already had one game with so much drama in that. We'll talk about that shortly. But remember, we've got as many as 4 derbies to look forward to.
That's a good one. Brilliant goal from Samuel Abeasi. Magnificent strike.
Obi Jr. is the man who has put them in front. This is a sucker punch. Crow Hearts of Oak lead by 1-0.
Klasinawaku. Sweet. And it's a glorious moment for Klasinawaku.
Samala turned around. Oh, lovely touch there again by Patrick Razak. Razak on the edge of it. It's a beautiful cross, Patrick Razak. And the Crow Hearts of Oak. Beautiful cross down the right-hand side. And he clipped that very, very well. Obi Jr. with a brace. Pulled the chestnut from the blazing fire here at the Crossbow Stadium. It's 2-2.
We've got the Mancha Derby for you. We've got live commentary tomorrow at 6 p.m. We'll talk about that. Oreku Ampofo, though, thank you very much for joining me. How are you doing, Oreku Ampofo? How are you doing?
George, I'm good.
Yeah. You are good. Gary is still here with me. Gary is good, right?
He is good.
Yeah. Oreku is good. He's a strong man.
He's had a long day.
Yeah, very, very long day.
He's been here since 6 a.m.
Yes,
and
that's
it
the
shows.
job. The job is the job.
The game is the game.
Oreku, so tell us about the drama. Okay, so what we know is that Bechem United beat Teshima 11 by 3-1. The game ended with so many bad scenes. Pictures are, flooding right now on social media. We have even seen some videos. A bit of it was even caught live on television. Coach Ignatius Fosu. Just give us the story. What went wrong aside that scoreline?
Well, for Coach Ignatius, if you've been following him throughout the season, especially at the beginning, he developed a reputation for himself where people likened him to Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte because of how emotional he could get on the touchline.
Very animated guy.
Yeah, extremely animated. So you can tell that he's extremely passionate about the job, and passion sometimes can move a bit to the other side, and that's the negative. And that's what happened today. After the 70th minute, he started, throwing jabs at the linesman. They're usually close to the technical area of the coaches, and started criticizing him, not agreeing with some of his decisions. And, his side ended up conceding a penalty to the same linesman. And then Ignatius started to insult him. This time it wasn't just complaining. He was using, words such as stupid and questioning his competence and how he even ended up as a referee. And, insults as such. And then the referee had enough of it and turned around. And, he didn't insult Ignatius, but he went straight for his mom.
Okay.
So, he used the popular insult in Chi. I'm sure you probably have an idea.
You're not going to repeat that one.
When someone insults your mom, you probably know what I'm talking about. So, he says that, and Ignatius replies asking, did you really say that in Chi? And then he says, yeah, that's what I said. And then he actually exaggerates it and stretches it. And so Ignatius also goes after his mother and father. And, they just keep on going back and forth. So, I think they moved on, but inside Ignatius, he didn't move on. So right after the final whistle, what made it painful was that Bechem United actually scored with almost the last kick of the game to make things worse. So they won 3-1. You're winning 1-0, 15 minutes to go. Your team has blown it. Linesman has insulted you. You've lost. You could tell that his pride was probably gone.
Yeah.
He had lost everything within him, and he lost control. Started speeding off to the linesman to attack him. And eyewitnesses say that he was just about to hit the linesman, and the policeman came and aggressively had to drag him off the pitch. And I know people are saying that, look, he's not a thief, and you shouldn't be handling him like that. But we didn't see how aggressive he was and how badly he was trying to attack that referee. He should probably thank his stars that he maybe didn't land a hit. It could have been the end of his career. So I think the police
that's the story.
at the end have ended up saving him.
Yeah, really, Gary. So how do we look at this? I mean, which one would you be more worried about? I mean, the fact that a coach does this, and I know some also say that, oh yeah, how about the referees and all that. First things first, you don't go punching, you don't go attacking, you don't go hitting anybody.
Yeah, you don't go hitting anybody. I don't think he hit anyone. He
was in the process
attempted
of,
to.
yes.
He got a bit heated,
Yep.
and thank goodness. I mean, if you see the pictures, it's on myjoyonline.com.
Yes, myjoyonline.com.
Yes, and it's on our Twitter feed
Yeah.
and our individual feeds as well. Thankfully, he was stopped before he could do anything silly. But of course, it's not a good side.
Yeah.
And yet, I like the preamble Oreko gave. Sometimes passion spills over.
Yeah, it does.
This week, we saw Romelu Lukaku and Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
And this was on live TV.
Yes, right.
I mean, there are videos because, the stadium was hollow and empty. The pitch side microphones picked everything up.
Yeah.
And they were gracious enough to insult each other in English so we could hear.
We could hear, yes. Yeah.
Even though Ibrahimovic is Swede and speaks Italian and speaks Spanish, he insulted
Chose
Lukaku's mother and wife in English.
Yeah.
Lukaku speaks Luganda as well.
Yeah.
He also speaks French, not
French,
the,
a bit.
He speaks French.
And
There's another one, Flemish.
Yeah, he's got about four.
He speaks Flemish,
multilingual,
a bit of Italian
Yes,
as well.
Italian as well, yeah.
But he was gracious enough to insult him in English
With
as
English,
well.
yeah.
So we could hear that.
So it happens, you say?
It happens. That's
Okay,
what I'm
yeah, that's the
saying.
point,
I mean,
yes.
they are not savory scenes, but
Yeah.
it happens in football.
Yeah.
And for me, a couple of listeners may not agree, but
Okay.
this is the sort of titillating action our league needs. These are some of the headlines our league needs. I mean, have you seen the pictures?
Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
And we had
Action.
photographers there who took the pictures in HD.
Yes, HD.
So you can see the policeman jostling Ignatius Fosu, his small buttocks like that.
Well, yeah, I know,
You know?
Gary. I know. You say that and the little
like
bit
the
about
jostling part.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit about the refereeing is that, all over the world, referees are not perfect. VAR is not perfect.
Exactly.
Nothing is perfect.
Exactly.
So, you want to keep your emotions in check. I think that's just where we can put it, right?
I think so, but
But it will never be 100%.
It can be 100%.
for me, I actually blame the referee more than the coach, because look, players insult referees all the time.
So you have to keep your cool
I
as a
think
referee.
as a referee, you need to keep
But it's a
your
human
cool,
being
and
too.
No, but you need to understand that you have the power.
Oreko,
If I feel like you've crossed the line with
this
your
was going
words-
on for some time. It went on for some time.
No, but George,
Yeah.
when a player goes on for some time,
Yeah.
remember
You have the
as
cards.
the referee, you have
You
the
have the
control.
cards.
You
Okay,
can
right.
decide, look, he's insulting me.
But this
Come
is an
and send
assistant
him.
ref.
Yeah, you can just communicate to the referee. Look, I don't like what he's saying. Come and send him off.
Yeah,
Then
okay,
you
yeah,
send
yeah,
him
yeah.
off.
Anyway, that you have a
I think
point,
that he could have been more mature. He
Yeah.
could have handled this better, because the moment you also insult him, then it triggers everything.
Charlie,
But
be
yeah,
like, he be like the referee, mean the guy already.
Well, so that's just the first bit of what we've got to do. We know that Bechem United have taken those 3 points, and
They are top of the league for
top
now.
of the league for now. We'll see what happens. There are important games coming up, like this game that we're going to be having live commentary on tomorrow at 6 p.m. You want to join us? It can really change everything at the top.
Olympics up by 2-0. That's a good one. Brilliant goal from Samuel Abeasi. Magnificent strike.
Obin Jr. is the man who has put them in front. This is
What I have to say to Olympics is they should know that we are their parents. We are in the world before they came. We are their leaders.
Wọ́n original landowners. Amẹ́jẹ market Swalaba. Wọ́n wọ́jẹ Gamashi.
If anyone is about Ghana, she want to watch it. Tafla tell what you hang on alo jam.
They are the old guys, the old men of Ghana football. Yeah, we do agree. But we are the traditional owners of Accra.
They are saying that they are Agoswe. We say never say that. You can go to the cemetery. You will find the bones who are rotting. You will see the bones are still alive.
Oli Dade, Oli Pietro, Oli Rosalinda, Oli Bakadasala.
Be quiet and cheer us up. We are the famous House of Folk. We never say die. Phobia one back. We're not Jibo.
All right, so we're looking forward to this game tomorrow. I think for tomorrow it is Oli 99.7. It's 99.7 FM, Oli 99.7 FM. We've got live commentary. Gary, what are teaming audience expected to look forward to there?
I mean, Olympics for the uninitiated in this season have been good. They've been stellar this season. They've been great. A plethora of factors have contributed to this, not least coaching. I know Walker, who was in charge of the team, got ill and they lost a bit of momentum for about 4 games. But they've bounced back because you have 2 former Ghana internationals in Yao Prekon and Godwin Atram in the dugout right now. And they seem to just continuing off from where Anna Walker left off. And they have quite a number of interesting players there. On their flyer today, I think the exciting young man, Manan, was the player they used. The young player who everybody's talking about. His nickname, interestingly, is Lukaku as well. And we are yet to see him actually explode. But the Olympics fans are saying he's going to pick his moment tomorrow against their old enemy to do so. And Hearts of Folk themselves have been on a wave, a crest of a wave. And it's been interesting watching those 2 teams go at each other. So if you watch the table right now, for the first time in years, there is something actually to talk about, and you cannot expect it to be a railroad performance. Eriku was showing me some statistics today that show that from the year 2000, Hearts of Folk have absolutely dominated Olympics and beaten them black and blue as well. But that may change tomorrow because Olympics are
in form.
Good.
They've got
team.
players. Awako, the likes who can cause trouble.
Among the 1,000 accolades that they have, that we had, the guy say in the sound clip that you played, was one on their official poster for the game today. So they had Oli this, Oli that, and the one that killed me, Oli Awoshian. I mean, Awoshian said.
Awoshian, it's cool.
That was on the official poster. Like, what does that even mean? Charlie, these guys.
Just take Oli and other things to work. It works out. Gary, so quickly, in terms of our broadcast, right after Rhythms A to Z, we're heading straight to Accra Sports Stadium tomorrow.
Yes, Rhythms A to Z, as you know.
And we'll end at 5:55 tomorrow for us.
It's 3 to 6 p.m., but they are going to end at 5:55 so that we can have a very short segue into the game. 6 p.m. is the kickoff. Olympics, like I said, are doing well this season. They are 7th on the table and Hearts are 3rd. But don't take my word for it, because the points difference between them is like this. Olympics are 7th with 15 points and Hearts are 3rd with 16. So just 1 point between them, which makes it even spicier.
That's right.
I mean, for Joy FM commentary, you know what to expect.
Yes, man.
Much of the same, stupendous quality. And we are going to include you every step of the way. 6 p.m. is the kickoff. The team will be there for the Manchester Derby.
Well, it's good. Today I got everybody on the team doing 1 or 2. Gary is done with his job. Oriku will stay with more coming up. Mubarak is going to start with his duties now to tell us the rest of the Ghana Premier League games. And he's standing by as well for the Manchester United debate. Hello. Manchester United, are they really title contenders? Or they're still pretending? All right, let's get on to this right now. Which other games are we to expect then?
There are 3 special derbies to look forward to on match day 11 of the Ghana Premier League. All eyes will be at the Accra Sports Stadium, where Accra House of Folk welcome city adversaries Great Olympics on Saturday. The Phobians have found their mojo since Costa Papic took over the reins in December. The Serbian has mastered 3 wins, 2 draws and 1 defeat in 6 games. His tactical acumen will be tested when they come up against Great Olympics, who are one of the most informed sides in the league. House of Folk have won 6 of the last 7 meetings of this fixture, and with the other ending in a draw. Great Olympics are enjoying a run of good results this term and will be in a buoyant mood to face Accra House of Folk. Great Olympics sit 6th with 15 points, with House of Folk in 3rd position with 16 points after a run of 10 games. Ashanti God remain one of the few clubs that are yet to taste a defeat at home this season, but they face an Asante Kotoko side who are undefeated away from home. The Miners are the highest scorer scoring team in the competition with 20 goals. However, their biggest concern is their defense, as they have kept only one clean sheet at the Lenkley Stadium after leaking 6 goals in the process. Ashanti Gold have won 6, lost 2 and drawn 2 in their last 10 meetings against Asante Kotoko at the Lenkley Stadium. Kerala United and Midiama Sporting Club will go up against each other at the Crosby Ewa Memorial Park in Enyinyase. Kerala United go into the game as huge favourites because they have won all their 5 home matches against Inter Allies, Dreams FC, King Faisal, Elmina Sharks and Brecum Chelsea. Striker Diawisie Taylor is available and he will be looking to add to his goal tally against Midiama Sporting Club. However, the Takwa-based club have won and drawn against Kerala United since their friendly encounter 2 years ago. Ediana Stars will need to build on their 1-0 win against Asante Kotoko when they welcome Ebusia Dwarfs, as a victory in the game will propel them to the top of the standings depending on how other results turn out. We have just played 10 matches, but it feels like the time is running out for Inter Allies, who are in the relegation zone for quite a while now. The 11-1 charges cannot afford any more slips as they need the point to pull themselves from the drop. They must win when they host struggling side Legon Cities at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday. Wafa have gone 2 matches without a win, and so they need to claim all 3 points when they face a bruised Liberty Professional side. Dreams FC also head to Elmina for their encounter against the Sharks with their confidence high. Bottom placed King Faisal will take on Brecum Chelsea on Saturday at the Ohene Ameya Park in Techima as the two teams battle for survival. The visitors lie in 15th place, 1 point above the drop, and will fight for their first away point, having gone 5 games without a win on the road. King Faisal have won 1, drawn 4 and lost 5 games, amassing only 7 points from a possible 30 and are in search of a second win this season. The match promises to be intense and competitive.
Oh yeah, match day 11 of the Ghana Premier League started with some fire. Becheb United beating Techiman 11-1 by 3-1 and momentarily at the top of the Ghana Premier League table. That's a lot to look forward to. Let's now get into the Joy Sports BBC Two-Way Series. So much to talk about. John Bennett back on. Then we had to talk about Thomas Tuchel. In fact, Chelsea fans will enjoy maybe the first 5 questions or so, and then we got into the others. Enjoy this. We're back with more. Thanks, John, for your time this weekend. Always a pleasure to have you in the locker room. Let's start with my Chelsea. And yes, everything has moved very quickly from the sacking of Lampard to the appointment of Thomas Tuchel. More on the new manager shortly. But had the sacking of Lampard become that necessary, per the Chelsea board statement?
Hi, George. Great to speak to you again. I'm in 2 minds about the sacking of Frank Lampard. On the one hand, I think it's harsh. On the other hand, I can see where the Chelsea board were coming from, because I've talked about this a lot with you, George, and I think you probably agree with me as well. I never saw an identity in Frank Lampard's Chelsea. I never saw what he was trying to do with the team in terms of a style, in terms of a way forward, in terms of a consistent team selection, what his best 11 was. I couldn't see a direction of travel. So that's why I think Frank Lampard was sacked. And of course, the big fear that they wouldn't get into the top 4. And they probably felt they needed to change things now to try to get into the top 4. And the fact is, with the likes of Leicester doing so well, West Ham doing